Most people fill the feeder and feel good about it. A handful of seed, a splash of red at the window, a small, quiet kindness on a cold morning. The kind that costs you nothing and asks nothing back. That's what you told yourself when you started. But here's what nobody mentioned at the garden store when you bought that first bag of sunflower seed. The moment you made it a daily habit. Not an occasional gesture. A habit, you didn't just become helpful. You became necessary. And there is a difference between those two things that most backyard birders never find out until it's already too late to fix. Welcome to Secret Life About Birds. Today we're going through 8 things that happen when you feed birds every single day. 8 things happening right now in your yard, whether you know it or not. Some of them will make you proud. One of them will stop you cold. Stay with me through all 8, because number 8 is the one most people say they wish someone had told them sooner. Let's go. Here's something nobody puts on the seed bag. A black-capped chickadee weighs less than 5 pennies. In the dead of winter, when the ground is locked and the branches are bare, and the temperature drops below what a human could survive without a coat and a furnace, that bird needs to eat roughly 35% of its body weight every single day just to make it to morning. Not to thrive, not to sing, just to still be alive when the sun comes up. That's not a metaphor for resilience. That's a metabolic deadline. Every single night. Cornell lab researchers tracking feeder-dependent bird populations have documented something that should give you pause. Birds with consistent access to quality supplemental feed show measurable increases in body fat and muscle mass compared to birds in identical habitats without feeders. Measurable, in the tissue, in the body. So that cardinal sitting at your tray on a January morning, not cardinals in general. That one, the one you've started to recognize, may be alive right now because you filled the feeder yesterday. Not poetically, biologically, because of a Tuesday. Birds are territorial in ways most people underestimate. A male cardinal during breeding season doesn't just prefer certain trees. He defends them, patrols them, will chase off a rival for the same half-acre of shrub and branch, day after day, like a man who knows exactly where his property line runs. That range can stretch half an acre or more. It's wide because it has to be. Food is scattered, unpredictable, hidden under snow, or locked inside seed heads that take real energy to crack. But then, you put a feeder up. Studies published in the Journal of Avian Biology found that birds with access to reliable feeders reduce their active foraging range by 30 to 40%. The territory doesn't dissolve. It contracts. It pulls inward, tightening around the one point that never disappoints. Your yard. That cardinal you see every single morning, same branch, same angle, same unhurried posture, isn't passing through on his rounds. He finished his rounds, he's home. And the thing at the center of his home, the anchor of everything he's reorganized his life around, is you. Try something. Fill the feeder at the same time every morning for 5 days. Doesn't matter when, 7 a.m., 8, whenever the coffee finishes. Just make it consistent. On the 6th morning, before you've touched the latch, before you've opened the door, look out the window first. They'll already be there. Not at the feeder. At the branch nearest the door. At the corner of the porch rail, watching the house. Watching you, through the glass, the way someone watches a clock they've learned to trust. University of Cambridge researchers studying avian associative learning found that small songbirds form precise behavioral links between specific environmental cues and the arrival of food. Not the feeder itself, the signals that precede it. The sound of a particular door latch, the creak of a floorboard, the gray jacket you wear on cold mornings without thinking about it. They have built a schedule around you. And here's the part that should sit with you. When that schedule breaks, when you sleep in, when you travel, when life interrupts the habit, they don't adapt immediately. They wait, burning energy they cannot spare, waiting for you. There is a moment researchers can actually pinpoint in the data, a threshold, a before and after, when a feeder stops being new. It's not about upgrading the seed. It's not about the feeder design. 2 yards, identical setup, identical food. One has been running for 3 weeks. The other for 3 years. The National Audubon Society's long-term feeder data shows the older one will draw significantly more species and higher bird counts. Every time, without exception. The difference isn't the tray. It's the reputation. When a bird feeds calmly at your feeder, no alarm calls, no panic, just the unhurried business of eating. Every bird within eyeshot receives a signal. This place is safe. The source can be trusted. A juvenile cardinal passing through catches that signal, lands, feeds, files it away, comes back, brings the pattern with it, wherever it goes. Your yard develops a name in the local network that no seed brand can manufacture and no new feeder can shortcut. That name takes seasons to earn. And it means one thing, translated out of whatever language birds carry between them. Someone here keeps their word. Odell locks the front door on a Thursday morning, puts his bag in the trunk, and doesn't think about the feeder once. Why would he? It's seed. But the male cardinal, who has spent 3 winters anchoring his entire territory to that post in the corner of the yard. He's running his loop, branch to feeder, feeder to branch. The route his body knows the way hands know a familiar door handle. The tray is empty. He tries again, still empty. He is not frightened. He has no framework for what frightened would even mean here. He simply waits, because waiting has always worked before. A Cornell lab study tracking feeder-dependent populations through severe winter conditions found that when feeders were abruptly removed for more than 5 days, local bird survival rates declined measurably. Not because natural food was gone. There was seed in the area, wild seed, the kind that was always there. But the birds had stopped looking for it. They had reorganized their survival around a resource that, without a word of warning, without any signal at all, had simply stopped being there. Some of them waited too long. You think you're the one doing the watching. You stand at the kitchen window with your coffee, tracking the cardinal, the chickadee, the small dramas at the tray, who's eating, who's waiting, who just got chased off the perch. It feels like observation. It feels one-directional. It isn't. The entire time you've been standing there, they've been running you through a continuous assessment. Chickadees process visual information at speeds that make human perception look like it's moving through water. University of Washington researchers studying corvid behavior found that crows and jays distinguish individual human faces with precision and hold that information for years. They remember who threatened them. They remember who didn't. Smaller songbirds can't quite match that facial resolution, but they compensate. Your silhouette, the particular rhythm of how you move, the way you hold a mug, the jacket. They've cataloged all of it. The bird feeding 3 feet from the glass hasn't gone tame. It has simply reviewed the evidence, months of it, and reached a conclusion. You are not a threat. That conclusion is not affection, it's not habit, it's trust. And in the bird world, trust is a survival position. There's a word for what's happening to the birds at your feeder. Synanthropy, the gradual adaptation of wild animals to human-modified environments. Pigeons are synanthropic, house sparrows. The raccoon that has learned your trash schedule better than your own family's. And, increasingly, the cardinal that lands on the feeder rim while your hand is still holding the scoop. Think about what that means for a moment. In the true wild, before suburbs, before backyards, before the concept of a bird feeder existed, that level of proximity to a large primate was not a sign of comfort. It was a mistake that didn't get made twice. The instinct to flee hasn't disappeared in these birds. It's been quietly turned down, season by season, morning by morning, one uneventful interaction at a time. Some researchers call this adaptation. Adaptations is survival, they say, and they're not wrong. But others point to something harder to dismiss. A bird recalibrated to tolerate close human presence may not recalibrate fast enough when that presence turns dangerous. The wildness that kept their line alive for millions of years doesn't vanish overnight. It just gets a little quieter every comfortable morning. This one doesn't have a study attached to it. The male cardinal at your feeder right now. That specific bird, at this specific moment, could be at any of a dozen other feeders within a half-mile of where you're sitting. There is nothing chemically unique about your seed. Nothing structurally special about your tray. He's at yours. The chickadee that appears on the branch nearest your window every morning, reliably, the way a clock is reliable. She is not there by accident or default. These birds have placed you in a category that has no room for inconsistency. Not supplier, not resource, constant. The way a river is constant, the way January is constant. Things you don't choose. You simply count on them. The way you count on anything that has never once let you down. You didn't apply for that. You just kept filling the feeder. But that's how it works. Quietly, without ceremony, without anyone asking your permission. They put you on the list of things that would always be there. When you stop, they don't get a notice. They just find the river dry. You didn't mean to matter this much, but you do. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Not about seed types. Not about feeder placement or seasonal migration patterns or anything you'd find in a field guide. Something simpler. Have you ever come home after time away, a week with family, a long stretch when life got complicated, a stretch when the routine just slipped, And before you even filled the feeder, you stopped at the window first, just to check, just to see if they were still there, if they had waited. If the branch nearest the door had anyone on it, watching the house the way they do when they know someone's about to come through. You already know what I'm describing. I can tell because you watched this far. If that moment has happened to you, if you've stood at that window and felt something you didn't quite have words for, I want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. What you saw, what you felt, whether they came back. The stories people leave here are some of the most quietly moving things I've ever read. I'll see you in the next one.